Welcome back to Keeping BZ, the podcast-like show where two friends, Zach and Brandon, show each other a video game as a way of just hanging out. I'm Brandon, and this is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate. This was a independently made Ninja Turtles game made by Super Megacorp, I believe. And this is kind of like their first big project. This was originally an Apple arcade game that eventually got ported to Switch and then eventually to Steam. And just yesterday, I believe, as of this recording, it just got a PlayStation and I think also Xbox versions. It's basically, to get into this game, it's Hades. It is basically a almost entirely wholesale clone of the classic. Well, I mean, yeah, it's pretty new to be a classic, but already I can see that game becoming that. It is very much copies most of the mechanics from Hades, but also adds co-op, both couch co-op and online co-op, because it's Ninja Turtles. You can actually have up to 4 people playing with you in this roguelike, but that does mean that the boss's health increases every single time you add a new player.
Brandon, you didn't say the name of the title right. You forgot to say Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate.
Oh, you're right. Yes, of course, because Nickelodeon does still currently own all rights to any media adaptations of Ninja Turtles. Their name was also on Mutant Mayhem when that came out the other year. And yeah, the other Turtles game that came out recently, which I think was Mutants Unleashed, I think that was entirely based off the Mutant Mayhem license. And I heard pretty mixed things about that game. But Splintered Fate takes its continuity almost entirely from the TMNT IDW comics that have been running for about a decade or so now. So you'll see little references to that here and there, though ultimately if you're a Turtles fan, you'll just be able to easily soak into the world here because it's just generally TMNT stuff. IDW kind of just took the best from everything and applied it to its own continuity. So yeah, it's Hades. So we're picking up what powers we're going to get next. Like Hades, there's different elemental powers. So you got your electricity, you got your fire in this game, and since it's Ninja Turtles, you got ooze as an element. You can pick up ooze damage, but here is a mastery damage, which basically just it's a very strong thing we can add on to our main attack. So what do I want here? I want to go with for each ninja power acquired, master strike damage, and dash strike. So let's let's actually go with the upping my master strike damage. Master strike basically is your final hit at the end of a combo. I could up my shuriken power, but you see there that usually Leonardo comes with shurikens, but I actually swapped it out with Raphael's size, which you can see in the top there as my tool power. And so that way, I mean, I can upgrade that, but since I don't have the shurikens, upgrading the shurikens wouldn't really do all that much for me. So I'm currently in the third area of Splintered Fate, which is the downtown city streets, where essentially multiple different factions of the enemies are warring against each other. So you'll have Shredder's minions, you'll have Baxter Stockman's Mousers, you'll have the Punk Frogs, all hanging out on this turf, and if you leave them alone, they will start to fight each other, which can help a lot if you're at this point in the game and are low on health. Yeah, Raphael's size I really like because they pull enemies in while also doing damage and stunning them. I'm also packing on crit damage as well as multi-hit damage, which you actually get from Michelangelo. And multi-hit damage basically means that what it sounds like, you essentially get the damage of 2 hits at the same time. So what do we want here? Do we want scrap? Scrap's like the temporary currency for the shops you get that will, disappear once you die. Elemental damage, of course, ups any elemental damage like flame or fire or water or whatever we find. And this is a turtle power, which is, just like the god boons in Hades, like the equipable things did different types of moves. So we're going to pick that up. And as you see next to the right of it, there's that plus 16. So we're going to get some permanent currency along with selecting this choice. So what do we want here? We got different flame elemental things we can tack on here. We can get increased damage below health, which will be very useful since I don't have any retries in this current run. We can get some extra flame damage against bosses. We can do a final strike, which means at the end of our strike, we'll do a little explosion. Or we can tack on fire damage for like a bit of, tacked on every second gives them another stack of damage. I'm actually going to do the increased damage while below health, since I imagine that'll become useful soon as I get into the harder areas that come up here. So one thing I really like about this game is that, unlike Hades, where, you would like... The different play styles in Hades would be whatever weapon you pick for Zag to use. In this game, it depends on which turtle you're playing as, and each turtle comes with their own weapon feel, their own special attacks, as well as their own stats and certain weaknesses and strengths. So Leonardo has pretty high... he has low health, but he has high strength and damage, and he's also quite fast. Like, that's his special, is that he can just fly through enemies. So, Zach, I don't know, you're not, necessarily kind of like me, like, you didn't really grow up with the Ninja Turtles IP, so neither of us are, like, really pulled in by the nostalgia of it. But I have been recently reading the IDW comics, honestly, because of this game, and I like them quite a bit. But your interest in this type of game would be more because of your own taste for Hades, right?
Yeah, oh my gosh, this is going to be embarrassing to admit, but it wouldn't be embarrassing anyway. Yeah, when I first saw Hades, I forgot the contrarian. My contrarian side was just like, oh, I don't know if I'd like Hades. I mean, it's another roguelike, and do we need more of those? But it was free on Xbox Game Pass, and I went, you know what, I'll try it. And I got so heavily addicted to Hades. Hades is amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I played this, it would be more for the Hades style.
And also because, unlike Hades, this is co-op.
Oh yeah, that also helps. Yeah, Ninja Turtles is one of those things is one of those franchises where I don't want to say I'm neutral about it, but it's closer to neutral. I'd say it's more neutral positive. I don't really have a bad experience with any of the Ninja Turtle stuff. I saw a couple of episodes of the original 80s show. I liked the 4Kids show growing up. I didn't really like Fast Forward that much, but I don't think a lot of people were into that. I've had some interest in 2012. I just haven't really gotten around to it. And Brandon and I saw the Seth Rogen movie, which I forgot the subtitle for that one.
I believe that's Mutant Mayhem, or maybe that's the name of one of the games. I can't really remember. All the games based off of that license all start with Mutant something.
Yeah, and I keep thinking of the Platinum Games Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game.
Oh, that's Mutants in Manhattan.
Okay.
I actually gave that game a shot, yeah, it's nice to look at, and it has like a ton of mechanics, like the kind of stuff you'd expect from, Platinum Games type gameplay. But ultimately, I honestly found the game kind of monotonous.
Yeah, for me personally, it feels weird to say because they make action games, and I love action games, but for whatever reason, Platinum Games do not make the kind of action games that I like. Which is weird, because they started off as Clover, and Clover made God Hand, and God Hand is the best action game I've ever played.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then there's also that weird Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game. I don't remember the name of that one. It was the one where like characters looked more like they looked closer to turtles than cartoon turtles.
Oh my god, I know, Zach, I found that game. Even though it was delisted, I was able to find it somewhere and give the PC version a shot. That is called TMNT Out of the Shadows, which is hilarious because after it got delisted, the second Michael Bay movie is called TMNT Out of the Shadows. So it's extra confusing. I've played a bit of that game. Zach, do you know who developed that game?
It's been so long, I couldn't even fathom a guess.
It's made by Red Fly Studios, who were the people that made Mushroom Men for the Nintendo Wii.
Mushroom Men is a game that I know exists, but I've never played it.
I own it. I think it's actually pretty underrated. It's a platformer that uses motion controls in a clever way that doesn't feel overbearing. I quite like Mushroom Man. Has good personality too. And I definitely saw the passion in TMNT Out of the Shadows, but the deeper I got into the game, the more you begin to realize it doesn't have much to it. It's one of those cases. So Zach, that was in that era, right around the time Arkham Asylum came out, where like every single game was trying to do the Batman Arkham combat. So Out of the Shadows does Batman Arkham combat, but it's a low-budget indie game that was clearly rushed out the door before the developers were able to fully fine-tune it, so it's too clunky to actually function that well. It's also it's a TMNT game, so it's also supposed to be 4-player, but that's kind of a problem when you're trying to do Batman combat with your friends, where you're constantly diving over each other to get to the same enemy and losing track of your combo.
Yeah, that does sound like a thing.
And like playing single player with 3 AI controlled buddies, in the same way it's way too much of a mess. It's too clunky to really function right. Whenever you enemies get knocked down and you have to like pick them back up quick or your combo will burn out, and it's a pain in the ass. I think the game has decent personality in terms of the character writing and voice acting, and I think that it has a decent selection of different TMNT villains, but you can tell that they had to basically just use the limited assets they had. Enemies repeat too often, and the combat does become pretty repetitive, which is a shame because the animation quality is actually quite strong, and whenever you have to do like takedown moves, they look great, and every turtle has their own specific takedown moves. It's like almost there, and there's even like fun team attacks where they like smash their shells into one enemy and like crush them, and those are pretty fun. But yeah, it unfortunately suffers from being just way too rushed to really be a product that I think is worth anybody's time. But it's interesting, and yes, the art style of making the characters look realistic is pretty hilarious. And on top of that, the game has cutscenes that are just still images where they traced over the character models in different poses without any texture quality, so they look like they were made in like paint. It's a real shame, that game. While Splintered Fate, to me, is arguably one of the best Turtles games in terms of writing, voice acting, and story, though that's not exactly a high bar, because all the other TMNT games just like remake seasons of the 2003 TV show, or they are, just barely have any story to speak of besides, hey, Zach, guess what? The Shredder kidnapped April. They gotta save her. And that's like every TMNT game. Thankfully, Splintered Fate is instead about Shredder kidnapping Splinter, which is the second most overused TMNT plotline. But this game actually has like good writing, good like surprising amounts of emotional scenes between the cast, and because it's a Hades ripoff, it means that the characters have different reactions to repeated events that you do as you replay the game. as well as just like different dialogue for going up against bosses that all feel like they actually put a lot of time into figuring out how they all, you know, what everybody's voices sound like. Because the voice acting in Splintered Fate, I would actually argue, is about as strong as Hades. And I know that sounds like a stretch, but I think they captured the TMNT cast and villains, as well as Hades captures its gods in terms of like just characters and story. Like they actually got that pretty well. I do obviously I think Hades is a better story overall, and overall the writing is better, but I genuinely think Splintered Fate has voice acting that is on par. It's very well done.
This won't last forever.
And maybe we'll get to see some of that at some point. Maybe if I get to the bosses here, though, I'm probably going to lose this run soon because I'm very low on health. Reviews for this game kind of talk down the music a bit. Like, they kind of just say that the music's okay. I actually genuinely really like the music in Splintered Fate, and I think, and as you replay it, you get to appreciate it more, because no, it's not like Turtles in Time, where it's like, you know, that big, bombastic Super Nintendo music, but it really fits nicely as chill, kind of rockin' background music, just as you're exploring each of the main areas. And I still have, like, some of the tunes from this game do get stuck in my head a bit. I do like them. Oh boy, we got a super Foot Clan guy here. So we got to be careful with how we deal with this dude. Because the things with these enemies is that they just never let up with their attacks. But yeah, just like with Hades, you just got to dodge the shockwaves.
Speaking of which, I am reminded that Hades 2 is out by now, right? Or at least will be soon.
The Hades beta has been out for a long time now and is still adding on content. I believe the full game is later this year, but don't quote me on that. But yeah, it's on Steam right now in beta and will eventually be coming to Switch soon, because it was during one of the Switch 2, during the big Switch 2 reveal that Nintendo did, Hades 2 was announced as one of the games coming to Switch 2, because, well, duh.
Not forever, but it'll help.
Yeah, I've still got to finish Hades, but I was playing that through Xbox Game Pass, and my Game Pass ran out. And if I want to continue with that save file, at least as far as I'm aware, I'm going to have to buy it specifically off the Xbox store. Which, I mean, I don't really mind putting money into Hades. Hades is worth more than, you know, Hades is definitely worth it.
Yes.
Just one of those. My backlog is too huge, and as much as I'd love to continue playing more Hades, I have other things. I'm upset because someone reminded me that a game I wanted has been out for a while now, and I can't get that one either because my backlog is too long.
Melee range, please.
There's too many good games, Brad.
Yeah.
We need a bad year for games.
And it's not happening so far. There's been a lot of stuff that's come out really, like not just games that everybody was anticipating that came out, you know, great, but like games that came out of fucking nowhere that all of a sudden are picking up their own audiences. Like, I really want to pick up, what is it, Expedition 33?
Oh, I want that as one as well.
Yeah, that new RPG that came out, everything I've seen of that game looks awesome and like the type of RPG I've been wanting.
Nice to meet you. I'm down.
Oh,
there we go.
And I lost this run. So now we get to take a look at some of the other characters.
Come on, Leo. Father trained you better than that.
So, oh yeah, if we walk over here to where Splinter was taken in that hole up there, he was like kind of dragged into it. So if we walk over to it, they'll always have a line to say relating to Splinter.
That creep can call this cane a trophy all he wants. To me, it's a reminder of who we're fighting for.
So when I have beaten one run of Splintered Fate, but like Hades, of course, that's not the end of the game. And the main villain revealed himself and gave me Splinter's cane as a consolation prize. So now the characters have new things to comment on related to Splinter's cane. But yeah, we can check out the characters here. So the game when the game came out, it came out with just the main four. Recent DLC has been added that allows you to play as Casey Jones as well. If you're planning on getting this game on PS5 or PS4, I have great news for you that for a limited time, you're actually able to get the Casey Jones DLC for free, which also comes with an entirely new area with new bosses and new enemies that happens about midway through the game that is the Punk Frogs main location, which is it's probably one of the best designed areas to like repeat in the game, and it's visually probably one of the most stunning levels as well. So yeah, Michelangelo, he has the highest hit range, as well as being able to be the one that is most likely to get multiple hits at the same time, which makes sense because of the nunchucks. He can also taunt enemies for extra damage.
Let's make the most of it.
Leo, like I said, he's fast, he does high damage. And he mainly focuses on just being able to, just pump out special attack after special attack and throw shurikens.
It's a dirty job, and I'm the one that do it.
Raph is critical damage. He hits hard and he can just pack on crits. He is able, like, the one run of this game that I actually have successfully finished against the Shredder is with Raph, because I just kept packing on crit damage to the point where almost every attack I delivered to an enemy was a crit until I was able to make Shredder my bitch. That was really satisfying. If
it ain't broke, make it better, I guess.
Donnie is my favorite Ninja Turtle, personally, and his focus is he has high health, and he has a focus on basically the ability to his tools like charge faster because he's the mechanic guy. He can restore his health between encounters, and his special attack basically sends out a wave around enemies, and for a split second, you actually are completely immune to damage, which comes in handy during some of the boss fights.
Ready for the game plan, coach.
So Casey is interesting because since you kind of covered all the bases with the turtles, what Casey does is his special is that he hits a hockey puck and it bounces off a few enemies, and whatever enemies it hits, it does damage to, but it also puts them in a guard break state, which means that they'll take additional damage if you hit them while in that state. His next attack, after a special, your next attack is a final strike, and so basically his specials also allow you to get even more crit damage as well on top of everything else. Similar to Raph, which makes sense because him and Raph are buddies. And he can also, basically he drinks an energy drink, and for 6 seconds he can do additional damage and recover his specials faster. So,
I'm totally tagging in, bro.
I'll let you pick, Zach. Which turtle would you want, Turtle or Casey Jones, or who would you want to see?
I think I want to see Donatello.
Clever. Capitalize on your strengths. I'll admit it now. There's more to this.
When you say he's your favorite, do you mean overall or just to play in this game?
I don't know what exactly.
I mean as a character. From reading the comics and the shows I've seen of TMNT, Donnie's always the one that I kind of connected with the most and liked as a character. I like all of them. I think all the cast that are given their moments to shine and be interesting in their own ways, whether it's Mikey being the heart of the team and the one that's able to kind of see through a lot of the emotional issues that the crew go through, or Donnie, being kind of like the
He does
ego
machines.
to, yeah, he does machines. He is the mechanic guy. As a character, he's pretty good to play as, but I've gotten farther. He's probably the character I've gotten the least far in runs with, but I still want to give him another shot.
Beating Shredder and then getting a trophy that leaves Master Splinter hobbled doesn't seem like much of a win to me.
So, before we head out into our run, we want to spend the dragon coins we got in the last run. This will do permanent upgrades to us. We can do, health recovery or just our health in general. I'm just going to upgrade our actual attack damage that we just generally do, which as you see you need one of those. That's an item you get from beating Shredder. So like there's specific upgrades you can only get if you've beaten certain bosses with certain characters and so on.
Some things you just can't explain.
So let's see here. Extra crit damage, special damage, and that's an item for beating the second boss, which is a Karai, which is like Shredder's granddaughter, who's also like his second in command. Toll damage. We can upgrade our max health again. Move speed. We can have our specials charge faster, which is helpful. Actually, yeah, let's upgrade the ability to get a multi-hit. Ooh, and it looks like I'm going to need something real special if I want to upgrade that. So that there that I need, you see it's orange, which means Mikey. And that means that I will need to do... So you know how like in Hades, Zach, after you finish the game multiple times, you have to like, in order to get extra items from different rounds, you have to like add on different challenges to each run so you get more points or whatever.
Yeah, I remember that, the contracts or something like that.
Yeah, the contracts. Here in TMNT, it's like there's like some mysterious woman who opens up portals who offers you different challenges that show up as you're doing the run instead of something you do before the run like in Hades. But I'd have to do one of those with Mikey and actually finish the run to unlock this upgrade. And we can also spend our Dreamer coins. Dreamer coins are essentially like upping our chances of getting certain upgrades. Or like, different turtle powers that we unlock. As well as, getting more optional currency out of enemies. Let's see. Send chance for bonus currency and room rewards. Yeah, let's get that. Let's see. Do we need more of that? Yeah. Let's get more Dragon and Dreamer coins from room rewards. Basically, it just means that like when you finish a room and you pick which power up to get next, this also increases your chances of getting even more like permanent currency on top of everything else. So let's go back. Of course, when you're going through runs throughout the game, occasionally you will be able to talk to some of the characters like you are in Hades and get more like lore out of them. But I guess not for right now. So let's just head back into the sewers and I'll show a little bit off of how Donnie works. How much time are we looking at, Zach?
27 minutes.
Okay, so we'll do a little bit of Donnie's run here. So I upgraded it, so now I'm able to get more optional currency from breaking crates. Ooh, and our first upgrade for this run is we can get a type of ooze power up. So let's see. Oh, we can actually have our boosts last for additional rooms, which is like our temporary boosts we get that we can buy from shops. Attack's going to apply 1 stack of ooze. Your final strike gets you 2 stacks. Or you can apply a stack from your dash when you like dash into an enemy. Let's see here. Well, that would also give us some optional currency as well if we get that one. I think the way that's calculated programming-wise is that it's giving you the one based on what you haven't really used yet. Nah, I'm going to just do the final strike.
I offer you
Oh,
a portal of power.
so here's a portal of power. We'll have increased chances of spawning tougher enemies. And they'll have more health and do more damage. I'm very picky with these because I actually want to finish the run. But I also know I'll get better rewards if I do them.
The foot must have good logistics to deploy so quickly.
So as you see, Donnie's combo is quite a bit different from Leo's. Since, of course, he has to use his bow staff. His special is actually, like, Leo's able to just, like, fly through enemies and strike with the swords. I find Donnie's more useful because he just does an area of effect attack. And, like I said, April and Metalhead have spawned helper Basically, yeah, helper mousers that will help us out sometimes, which will show up randomly. Let's see. Oh! We can throw ooze shurikens. I don't know how that works, but we could switch out our current tool weapon for that. And as we know, Donatello is able to refresh his tools much faster than any other turtle. So, yeah, let's do it. Let's get that. Because shurikens are very useful if you're able to attach enough damage and status effects to them. There we go. Yep. And basically, ooze works like poison damage, so it just tacks on and keeps hurting enemies even after they've been hit. It's very useful.
This projectile bomb will do significant damage to organic matter.
So, oh, man.
Oh.
Oh, my. What? We got Meteor Storm already? That's a crazy one. And it's a level 3 already? I like ooze shurikens, but that's,
Meteors.
That's actually...
Meteors.
Yeah.
Do it for the content.
I'm gonna do that.
Meteors.
This is definitely a viable solution.
Let's see. Oh, I don't want to do that. That means every enemy will now have an additional health bar. I don't think so. I don't like that. Oh, well, that was a glitch. Whoops. Oh, well. All right, yeah, let's pull off the meteors. Very useful, as you can see. Do a ton of damage, too, because they're level 3, and these are level 1 enemies.
I just like the idea of constantly spawning meteors.
Oh, yeah, as you can see, they hit for a wide range, too, and do a lot of damage, so... That was a good choice. Oh, we actually haven't... And I have it now that enemies occasionally drop health items, which is invaluable in this game when you get later on. Let's see. Additional water damage, eh? Oh. I got Ooze Strike, but this will add on multi-hit chance, which is very useful. If you not use your attack... Let's see... Yeah, let's just replace our Ooze Strike with water.
Water. Truly remarkable.
The Foot have issued a gauntlet challenge.
Okay, so the Foot will occasionally give us gauntlet challenges, which are just harder versions of mini bosses or bosses, and we get like a coin out of these that we can spend that will allow us to get better upgrades. Sure, I'll show off one of these.
Oh boy. At least watch out for the gas lines. Unseen damage.
Oh god, oh god! Yeah, basically the gauntlet challenges take you up against enemies that you wouldn't normally encounter until near the end game. And near the end game, there's a mini boss with a different, like, elemental, like, Foot Clan member that you have to go up against. So I guess now we're dealing with the fire guy who I've actually never fought before. No, I need my meteors! Come on. Out of my way.
A ninja blow.
Almost got him. Just need to pack on that damage.
Bravo, my brethren.
Well done, my sons.
Excellent. Ooh, inspiration. So, an inspiration turtle power allows us to get... So I mentioned, like, the different advantages and disadvantages of playing as any of the other characters. This will allow us to tack on a bit of the advantages of a different turtle on top of our character, which is very useful. So let's see. Casey Jones allows you to get more of a crit chance at the end of your strike. Raphael just gives you more hit for criticals in general, and Wrath allows you to do like 2 special attacks in a Leo allows you to do 2 special attacks in a row. I'm just gonna go for more crit damage. It's always useful. Ooh, okay. So this would make our meteor not charge as fast, but Donnie by design does have faster tool charging. Nah. Either way, we'll just skip that one for now.
More meteors.
More meteors. Always more meteors.
Breaking other people's machines is bizarrely satisfying.
I don't exactly know where the meteors come from or what this has to do with, like, I mean, the turtles have gone into space. That is canon, but I don't know what this necessarily has to do with a specific character's power. Like, maybe secretly April O'Neil can rain down meteors, but I doubt it.
It's just cool.
It's just cool.
Yeah, I'm sure summoning meteors is part of their ninja training.
I mean, yeah, maybe Shredder's just, maybe Splinter's just saving that for later.
Maybe they learned it from Naruto during that one crossover.
Have you read Naruto X TMNT, Zach?
No, I only know that it exists.
I've heard it's good, Zach, but to be fair, every one of IDW's TMNT crossovers are usually apparently very good.
I mean, Naruto and Ninja Turtles kind of makes sense. I'm really not much of a comic reader, though. Activating your special... Well, having your special gain all of your dash stuff is cool, but activating your special tool makes your next attack final strike. Yeah, I'm just going to do more damage to bosses. Hell yeah.
To the chairman's house we go.
So now we have one of our shops, which there are actually 2 different shopkeepers in this game.
Are we even in the city limits anymore?
Oh, actually, for once, I don't have to spend money on refilling some of my health. That also increases max health. Dragon coins. Yeah, let's go to water turtle power. Ooh, multi-hits deal even more damage. This allows us to stack more damage for multi-hit chance. Special and tool has a 60% chance to deal more water damage. Ooh, I don't know. I heard you react, Zach. Are you thinking of something?
It was before you picked the water power. There was one you could have picked that would have increased your tool damage.
Okay.
And so all I could think of was more meteors.
Well, don't worry, Zach. I have enough temporary currency to pay for that, too. So let me see here.
I mean, if you want to know my choice, meteor water. Although I do have the question of, what does multi-hit? I mean, I assume the name makes it kind of obvious.
Basically, it allows you to do an attack that has the damage of multi-hits. So, like, you would be doing the damage of, like, 2 attacks at the same time.
Okay, that's what I thought, because I'm kind of curious, because that almost sounds like crit, in a way. I mean, I know crit is its own thing.
Yeah, crit damage is much higher than multi-attack. But this also just is like like 2 attacks at the same time, which does a little bit more damage. So let's,
Oh, okay, water dashes would be the one I would pick, actually. In Hades, I love doing things that improved my dash.
That's true. Let's go with that this time.
Oh, that's only for 4 rooms.
Yeah.
But
well, let me show you something, Zach. Let me buy up some dragon coins, increase my maximum health.
All the basic food groups.
And well, currently what I have on as my like equipped item, it allows me to basically fully dodge attacks occasionally. That hit me. But I also have, where is it? Getting more stuff from soldiers. This allows my boost to last for 2 additional rooms, which would also include the extra damage to tools.
But it looks like you have to pay for it?
No, that's only if you want to upgrade it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can upgrade it, but you can also just equip it at any time. So, I don't know. Dodge chance is pretty good, though. Yeah, I'm going to keep my dodge chance because that would mean I can just fully dodge attacks entirely. I tried the gauntlet challenge on this boss last time, and I did finish it, but just barely surviving, and that was with that Leo run I just did.
Repetition is my favorite.
First boss, as always, is Leatherhead.
Although now that I think about it with multi-hit, if you get a multi-hit, do multi-hits have the chance to crit as well?
I don't know if I don't... Well, actually, just there, Zach, I did a crit and a multi-hit at the same time, and it doesn't look like the multi-hit crits, but the first attack hits instead of both attacks. If that makes sense.
I was wondering if multi-hits had their own crit chance. So yeah, I guess if multi-hits have also the potential to also crit, then yeah.
Basically, multi-hit, like I said, is 2 attacks at once, but it would mean that only the first attack can crit. Because the second attack already does multi-hit damage, so yeah, it's a whole thing. But that sure would be useful. But that's how I originally beat Shredder with Raph, is that I combined multi-hit damage with crit damage and just kept upping the amount that they do and eventually got it. Alright, let's attack Leatherhead with some meteors. Yeah, that did a fair amount of damage. Yep, he'll dash across the arena while they rain bad guys on us. When I did the hard version of this mission, it was a nightmare because they spawned giant rats that spit out goo that takes up a good portion of the entire arena, on top of Leatherhead, who is now twice the size he usually is, flying around the arena at the same time. It was hell. All right, let's take him out. I'm assuming we're probably at like about 40 minutes, Zach.
43, yeah.
Okay, so this might be just a good place to stop once I get to the next area here.
I'm sorry for your suffering.
Got some bonuses from the boss. Get some health back from the boss, even though, yeah, I didn't really lose that much health. And the second area is always the docks. And once you finish the docks, you can actually choose whether to go to the city streets or the DLC area, which is the Punk Frog Junkyard.
Really try to control the smell around here. It's worse than the sewers.
So yeah, it's like every area begins with you picking your new power-up for that area and then moving on as you progress. But I think this gives like a decent idea of what playing Splintered Fate is like. And as far as I'm concerned, this might be the best TMNT game, which, I mean, when you think about the pantheon of Ninja Turtles games, they're almost entirely beat-em-ups. So it's kind of hard to go like, oh yeah, in comparison to what? Because there's not a ton of different genres of Turtles games. And those that were like, you know, like the original Game Boy games that aren't very good, or just, you know, a lot of the other stuff in the Cowabunga collection that was not on par with like Turtles in Time or the arcade game. So I think this is this easily is like one of the best Ninja Turtles games, alongside, you know, Shredder's Revenge and Turtles in Time and all that. And I definitely recommend giving it a shot, especially if you're a fan of Hades. Even if you're a fan of Hades, but not necessarily someone that's super big into TMNT, I still think the gameplay loop has enough content here that you'll still get something out of it if you're finally sick of playing another round of Hades. Obviously, it's an independent production and not as polished as a usual, you know, product that comes from the company that makes Hades, but I still think this game is far and away worth it. It's currently on sale on PlayStation for about $22. Usually that's where it hits when it's on sale. Full price is about $30. But you could, like I said, you can get the DLC for free now. So yeah, check it out. That's TMNT Splintered Fate, and this has been another edition of Keeping BZ, where I talked the whole time and Zach sat in the corner as my hostage. So take care. Have a good night.